It's the Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul, the podcast about stories in business and in life, with your hosts Ed Fox and Paul Odendahl. G'day viewers and listeners, it's another great episode of the Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul, with Ed Fox and the amazing, the one, the only favorite co-host, Paul L. Odendahl. What's the L stand for?
You're going to embarrass me to our viewers. It's not embarrassing. I'm proud of this. My grandfather's Lambert.
Lambert.
That was my grandfather's name.
Paul Lambert Odendahl.
That's a popular name in our country. Popular name in the Midwest, where my family is centered in Minnesota. And on that note, Jeremy Nunn is our guest today. Jeremy, where are you coming in from? Where are you located? It's 21 degrees. It's supposed to go down to 9 tonight. Please tell me you're somewhere near those temperatures.
Nowhere near it. I'm 68 degrees, sitting on an island in the Gulf of Mexico called Galveston Island.
All right, that's the end of our call. Our guest is now thrown out of the room. No. We love Jeremy.
Jeremy.
68.
God
bless you.
I love it.
My niece is coming over from Australia this week. And she'll be here for 90 days. I think she's allowed to stay. And she wants to experience everything about America. And there's only really one place in Australia that it snows. And so she's been there and been snowboarding. And so she wants to be in Kansas. I'm in Nashville, but we spent 30 years in Kansas. She wants to be in Kansas for Christmas to see the snow. I said, it snowed once in the 32 years I've lived in Kansas at Christmas. I said, January, February, you're going to get more snow. But we can bring her up to you, Paul. We can fly into Stewart up there, and there's a bunch of snow up there right now. So
we got 8 inches of snow yesterday. We were blessed with 8 inches yesterday.
So Jeremy,
tonight we're blessed with 9 degrees, listeners. 9 degrees.
And that's Fahrenheit.
The water in my wake-up call with Ed and Paul cup is going to freeze.
And those of you listening in other parts of the world that use the metric system, 9 degrees is not 9 degrees Celsius. That's 9 degrees Fahrenheit. Google is your friend. You can figure out that.
Thank you, Ed.
People call me, like my sisters call me from Australia at 2:30 in the morning. They go, what time is it over there? I'm like, time you used Google to see what the time is in Nashville, Tennessee. Before
you just woke me up.
Yeah.
Because you just woke me up.
Yeah. So anyway, Jeremy, were you born and raised on that island, or
I was not, actually. I'm from the East Coast. I grew up in North Carolina. I made my way down to Texas when I was a teenager. Lived in the big city. It was just too much. Houston is huge. Lots of people. And if you don't like all that, it's just too much. But I kind of headed towards the coast and found this little island about 20 years ago. And it has been my vice ever since. I just never even like to leave my island for anything. I hate going to the mainland.
Well, there you go. So tell us, what is it you do?
I am an operations director for a staffing and recruiting firm where we focus on bridging the gap between employers and candidates. In the same breath, we also work with the candidates and the employers to help bridge that gap as well by providing job placement packages. So basically, we work with professionals and help people find jobs.
Cool. And I see you've got a QR code on your background there, and it looks like it's got a BNI logo in the middle of it. Tell us if I scan that, where will that take me?
Yes, thanks for asking. We are a very proud member of a local strategic alliance BNI chapter here in our area. If you scan that, it'll take you to our profile. It'll let you see a little bit more about our company and how to be good referral partners for us as well. And it'll also lead you back to our website where you can view our services and schedule free consultations on any of those services.
Oh, wow. Cool. So we're all BNI members too. We're really hitting it with BNI members today, which is great. BNI, for those of you that may not know, and surely if you've been listening to us for more than one episode, you are familiar with what BNI is. It stands for Business Networking International. They have chapters all around the world, millions and millions of dollars of business is referred by members in these BNI chapters. And I think they've got like 300,000 members in a bunch of chapters around the world. So highly recommended if you're looking to network to get new business. It's a giver's gain mentality. So definitely check out BNI. Paul, they're not sponsors of our show. Maybe we need to hit them up.
That's a good point, Ed. we also have a new sponsor coming in 2023. So that could be an additional sponsor.
Okay.
And we'll keep our audience wondering about that also, like Paul's
go.
podcast coming up on iHeartRadio.
Yeah. So, Jeremy.
So, Jeremy, I'm putting this in as a 1-to-1. Okay, go ahead, Ed.
Good. I needed one this week.
So, Jeremy, what interested you about appearing on our podcast? What was it that made you want to come on?
Well, Ed, I don't know you very well, but it's Paul. Hands down, it's Paul. I know Paul from a network. We're both ambassadors on Alignable, and just in meeting one another, Paul is such a character. And when this opportunity came along, I would have been an idiot to pass it. I'm just really here to hang out with Paul, meet you, Ed, and hopefully meet some of your audience in the near future.
Yep. And Paul is a top 10 mentor from the US and Canada on Alignable with over 7 million members on Alignable. Paul got voted one of the top 25 businesses in America, and he ended up at number 10. So that was...
Way to go, buddy.
Yeah. Well done, Paul. So, Jeremy,
what our show's about, Jeremy, helping others.
Amen.
Helping others. If you work to improve the lives of others, your life improves automatically.
Who was it? Zig Ziglar and Cavett Roberts?
Kirk Ashley.
Okay, well, a similar version of that is help enough other you will get what you want if you help enough other people get what they want.
That's Zig.
So that's a Zig. Yeah.
Yep.
And Cavett Roberts was people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Although Zig stole that years ago as well. So I don't know who came up with it first. But
so, Jeremy, thank you for that wonderful compliment. It really is about Ed on this show. I'm the interrupter. So, and try to bring some comedy to the show because Ed's not funny. So tell us a little bit more about the things that Jeremy is concerned about in this business. And as I listened, do you do recruiting for the insurance industry?
We do recruiting for all industries in all 50 states. So if you need help, just give me a shout. If we can't be a good fit for you, we may refer you to somebody that can be, just because the industries are, so broad nowadays. But we work with lots of industries because we have a seasoned recruiting team where every one of our recruiters have a specific niche. So we more than likely already have a recruiter employed, ready to go to work with you and your business.
You see the crybaby over there, for those who can see the show? He's over there whining. I didn't offend. Get back up by the microphone, will you? You're a big part of this show, you big baby. That's the Northeast part of me again. The Northeast. Jeremy's used to this. He came from the Northeast.
The last episode, I basically was giving great advice, or I say it's great. Maybe that's unfair of me to say, but so I wanted to talk less and let you talk more, Paul.
No, I would like you to talk because last show, and Jeremy, you shouldn't be having to listen to the last show because you should go watch it. But the last show, Ed, you were very passionate and very engaged and focused on helping that gentleman, which is what we do.
It is what we do.
And it's a friend of mine. That's a personal friend of mine. Jeremy, I met, by the way, for the viewers, Jeremy, I met through Alignable, as he mentioned, and I was impressed with Jeremy. We were talking about the authenticity of our past guests. This person, I love people that are direct, honest and direct. That's all I want you to be out there, honest and direct. Sometimes it hurts people's feelings. But if you can do it in love, if you really care, that makes a huge difference. Jeremy's very direct and honest. That's what attracted me to Jeremy. We had a great conversation about Alignable and a great conversation about Alliance and a great conversation about B&I and business. And I'm very impressed with this young man.
Well, that is nice of you to say. Paul can be nice. He's a great guy. We actually had not met in person for several years from when we first met on it was an Alignable lady that started a mastermind group, right? That we met through mastermind with Sue and Sue Brooke. Is amazing and wonderful person who I've also met in person, but it took us a couple of years before Alice, my wife, the most wonderful wife in the world, flew out to see Paul in April. Was that September? Man, that's so long ago now. September,
it was the end of August and beginning of September. Yeah.
And we had a blast together. So it was good and we hit it off. We hit it off in person, just like we had online. So that is great. So Jeremy, what are some of the challenges or the struggles that you are going through with growing your business?
I would say it's the same as everybody right now. It's uncertainty and inflation. Everything's expensive. We are a staffing firm, so we provide wages for our employees. And so we've had to increase wages. On top of increased wages, we're having reduced income because the price of our goods cost more for us. And so that would be my biggest concern as far as that. We are solid, so it's not really affecting us to the point of, to make us nervous, but it has made us reconsider some of our growth opportunities we were planning for 2023, as well as slow our hiring down for internal staff.
Right.
And that, as a staffing firm, is really sad to say.
Right.
But we had to slow our internal hiring down because wages are higher. People are wanting more for less work.
Right. Exactly. And so to me, it's interesting because I think we've got two ways we can do. We can cut back or we can lean into, right? Mm-hmm. So I think we have to do both. We have to lean into the opportunities that do come about, but we have to cut back. So I think a recession, which people don't like to use that term, and some politicians are trying to say we're not in a recession, but I've been around a few years. This is a recessionary time. The recession enables us to cut the fat, right? It enables us to cut back and get back to making the main thing, and makes us look at everything we're doing. Where can we streamline? Where can we save money? Right? We're looking at restaurants. I don't know if you're having this trouble, or Paul, whether you're seeing this at restaurants. There's not enough service.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough kitchen help. There's not enough hostesses. It's taken forever to get food when you go to a sit-down restaurant.
Here, they've cut back the hours. Ed.
Right.
They've cut back. A lot of food establishments have cut back their hours, not because of the pandemic. This is post-pandemic. They're cutting back the hours because they don't have help.
And sadly, we can't help as many of them as we'd like. We want to help every business that we can, and we will be glad to. But the price points, because they've had to cut these back, they just literally cannot afford to outsource those services. And we even have reduced our hourly rates to help accommodate that. And even then, it's still tough.
What it's going to do is it's going to make those restaurants better. Mm-hmm. The ones that don't pivot, the ones that don't change, they're going to go out of business.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the business environment works. You pivot, you learn, you change, you move. And so that's exactly why we do this podcast, is sometimes people just get sparked just from a conversation that we're having. They'll get a spark that helps their business, that helps them look at things in a different way. So the benefit of what's happening now is the businesses that come out of this the other side are going to be leaner, they're going to be stronger, they're going to know how to do things better with less people. So I think that's a good thing. It's just like going on a diet and losing weight, right? It's not fun. It's not fun to go on, maybe somebody, now I've offended some caller that does weight loss and they're going to say, oh, it is fun to lose weight. I'm a chocoholic. I like my chocolate diet. I don't lose any weight, but I have a good time doing it, so on chocolate, right? So Jeremy, what's one tip that you have found that has been successful? You don't have to give away any company secrets, but some things that you've done that you've seen other businesses do that have been successful.
And in regards to filling staff, or just
in regards to life, whatever. Maybe you've got a favorite restaurant that you walk into and you go, oh, wow, that's an innovative way of dealing with that.
I got a simple remark to that. Regardless of your job, your business, if you own it, if you work it, if you don't like it, don't do it. Plain and simple. Because I'm dedicated. I'm an employee. My boss is the most amazing woman I've ever worked with. I love my job. I am rewarded regularly. In the tough times, I can wait for a raise. I can skip a few years. I don't care, because I'm loyal and because I'm happy in what I do.
See why I love this guy. See why I love this guy at Fox.
If you're upset with your job and your workplace and your state of life, and nothing's going to pan out. So just do what makes you happy, as well as protect your home, protect yours first, and the rest of it will just fall in place.
Right. So what I hear, and people get confused sometimes when they get competing messages. They are competing, but they're also important to understand. Employers, take care of your employees to the best of your ability. If you take care of your employees, you'll have loyal employees. That doesn't mean that even as an employer, if the employer does everything right, if somebody doesn't like the job they're doing, it's not the employer's fault. It's
Bingo.
just not a good fit for the employee. Now, that employee needs to stay there and maintain a good attitude if it's about providing for their family. Sometimes we do things we don't like for a period of time to get where we need to get to, right? But if you can have the ability to leave that job or that business and start a different job or business that will bring you more joy, and you're able to protect your family, your home, whatever is important to you as well, then what I hear you say, Jeremy, is do that.
Do it. Yeah,
Exactly.
because it will self-fulfill. You know, if you're happy, you're going to want to do. And that's what motivates me. I mean, I never thought, I've been with this company about almost 4 or 5 years now, and I never once thought I would do this. I used to own retail stores and run restaurants. I never thought I'd be an operations director working in an office. It was never on my things to do list, but it just worked out. And then I found out that I'm happy here. So now I'm becoming more proficient at what I do day to day. And my last piece of advice for people would be invest in yourself. You need to invest in yourself, educate, teach yourself, learn, acquire skills. You can't expect it for nothing. And because if you have no skills, you get no money.
Jeremy and Ed Fox, as we enter 2023, you're such an inspiration to me, Jeremy. I knew there was a reason I couldn't wait for this call today. As we enter 2023, whether the great debate is recession or not, we're going to have to start, the three of us, helping small business owners understand that after a pandemic period and shifting to an electronic, really quickly shifting to a virtual electronic age that had already been building, creativity is still important, but it's not of main importance now going into 2023. To survive in the recession, you really have to have value-added services that make you different than everyone else. To me, that's really important. And the second part, which heart to heart with you, Jeremy, is Thursday, we have our BNI meeting. And Thursday, I'm going to talk about, I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received, which is what you were just speaking about. So Ed's speaking about sometimes during that calling, you're not happy and you still need to provide with your people, for your family, for people that are dependent upon you. But when you really find a space in life where you're living what you're really called to do, and then you can share that with others and expand on that, that's where you're finding success in life.
Exactly.
So between added value in 2023, which is going to be huge. Creativity was really important in 2020, 21, and 22. Now, creativity is still important, but added value is going to be more important. It's not going to be about how creative you could be, because we're going to lose businesses.
Right.
And people are not going to survive.
There's a difference between creative and innovative.
Correct.
Innovation can be creative, but it can also be taking technologies or skills or items or things that are already out there and just using them in a different way. Now, you could argue creative or innovative either way, but the fact is, you're right. How can we add value? Well, the easiest way to add value for me is I like using McDonald's kiosks. I like using Steak and Shake's kiosks and Chick-fil-A's kiosks. I like using the self-checkout at the grocery store. This is the way that those jobs that people didn't like doing, they can go on and they can learn and get degrees and do things that they want. They can use tools like what you have available, Jeremy, is that you can help place them in industries that they do want to be involved in, right?
Yeah, definitely. And one more comment, you mentioned, you threw a hot topic for me there. Degrees. I handle resumes all the time. I work with doctorates, associates, and it breaks my heart to see somebody go and spend all the time to go to school to become a doctor and to get their doctorate, and I have to place them in a job that makes $18 an hour.
Right.
Do not pick a useless degree. A college is a business. They are selling you a product. Have the sense about yourself to know if you need that product or not.
Yeah, that's what I say. Drop the underwater basket weaving component, forget
gender studies, liberal arts,
right.
There can only be so many museum curators and marine biologists.
Yeah,
you're talking my talk again, Jeremy, because you're leading right into Thursday's talk again. To urge you to live the life worthy of your calling, that's easy to say. That's a biblical verse, by the way. But we're not going to go from the biblical spiritual aspect of it with our BNI members. So not to bring religion into our chapter meeting. But a lot of people don't know their calling.
Right.
First, you have to learn what your calling is. So don't spend thousands of dollars at an educational institution to get a degree that for some reason you believe has tremendous value to it, which it may or may not without you doing the research, and not follow your passion and calling.
Exactly.
And for people that don't know what they want to do, COVID was good for a lot of people because they got more time to think. Mm-hmm. They got more time to sit and self-reflect, right? And a lot of them hated it. I talked to a lot of people that hated that time where they didn't get to interact. But sometimes we need to sit still and we need to think instead of just react. And I think when we start to think, we started to realize that we didn't like to do this thing, whatever this thing was. This isn't what we wanted to do with our life. So like you were saying, Jeremy, find what trips your trigger and go do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Basically. I mean, we only live once. You might as well enjoy it.
Right. And we don't live that long.
Exactly.
Yeah. None of us are getting out of this alive. I've talked to my kids from a young age about that because I had a 9-year-old who's now 27 that said, I'm afraid to die. Like, dude, I can, you want a hug, go to mom. I mean, I'll give him a hug, but let's be real here. None of us are getting out of this alive and we don't know when our time is. So make the most of it. My wife's like, oh, you're going to send him to therapy for the next 20 years. It is what it is, right? We have to accept that. We have to relate to the fact that we don't know stepping off the curb tomorrow what's going to happen. So have we said, I love you to the people that need to hear, I love you? Have we hugged the ones that need to be hugged? Have we done the best we can do with what God's given us to provide for others?
Exactly.
And that's where I like talking to business owners or employees of businesses that help others achieve their goals. That's what business is about. It's about helping others. And that's what you do, which is awesome. And how long have you been doing this, Jeremy?
Pushing 5 years now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. That's amazing. And if somebody wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Visit our website to schedule a free consultation at www.powelsonconsulting.com, or feel free to give us a call at our Texas office at 409-405-5510.
And folks, all that'll be in the show notes. Jeremy will send us an email after we're done here, and that'll be in the show notes. So you'll have all his contact information. Last minute thought, Jeremy, we've got just a couple of minutes left. Anything else you want to ask or want to add?
Love each other. Register and vote.
There you go.
I'm great, guys. You guys are wonderful. I appreciate this opportunity to meet you, Ed, and meet your audience, hang out with Paul again. I just really appreciate it. And I just know, guys, when you're looking for jobs, don't stress it so much. It's going to fall into place. Put your best foot forward and it will work out. But other than that, they can save it for a free consultation. Give me a call and I'll be glad to go over it individually with each of your customers.
Cool. Great advice, Jeremy. Great advice.
Do you have a last minute? Do you have anything?
No, I'm just grateful.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for being on the show.
No, guys, I appreciate you very much. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thanks.
Well, that's it for this edition of the Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul. Thanks for listening. As always, we appreciate it. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can do that on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube. Thanks a lot and have a great day.